Sure.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe like it's more easily to look at people can understand.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tamara. I will moderate today's session, and the topic is DAO ecosystem, fostering innovation and collaboration. We have three amazing panelists. You just heard their names, so let's jump right to it. And could you guys introduce what you do?
Sure. Hi, I'm Gonzalez, co-founder of Event Horizon. What we do is we're essentially trying to increase the token participation in DAOs. Essentially, nobody votes. You know, the average participation rate's like 1%, and that's both for voters and tokens. So what we do is we give retail voters up to like a 20,000x multiple on their voting power as a non-monetary incentive so that people can start showing up and participating in DAOs.
Hi, I'm Varit. I'm from co-founder and CEO of Curia Lab. So we are a team of delegates, governance enthusiasts, and builders who focuses on like empowering DAOs with data-driven tools and helping DAO drive, especially increasing transparency and accountability. And we work with several DAOs like Optimism, Arbitrum, SafeDAO, and such.
Hi everyone, I'm Yudai from Fracton Ventures, and Fracton Ventures also are organizer of this event, DAO Tokyo. I'm also co-founder of Fracton Ventures. So we are also actually we are a crypto incubator. So we have been providing incubation program as well, and also supporting a DAO or to write a propose to the forum to each of DAOs. So in the DAO Tokyo this year, our Arbitrum DAO and DWX DAO are allocated grants for supporting to this event. Yeah, that is.
So as you can see today, we have several professionals in the DAO space. The person who basically thinks of an innovative approach to have more votings inside the DAO's treasuries and proposals towards the proposals. The person who works with on-chain data and supports also treasury management and different tools. And the person who supports the incubation of the teams and helping them grow. So the first question would be, this is the second year we have in DAO Tokyo in Japan, and I was here last year as an audience, and I well remember how it started, but it's been a year. What kind of year was it?
I would say there's been a few themes within the DAO ecosystem the past year. So the first that I could think of would be DAOs are trying to professionalize a lot more. I think oftentimes people say, hey, DeFi's been speedrunning, the history of speedrunning financial history. In the same way, DAOs seem to be speedrunning corporate structuring, political philosophy, that sort of thing. And so we're finding out that, direct democracy is not actually an ideal. We don't want to vote on everything all the time. So we're coming up more with committees and oversight committees and security councils and things like that, essentially saying, hey, some centralization isn't that bad when it comes to making decisions. The key is how do we have checks and balances in that sector. So that's something we're trying to figure out now. I would say another theme would be like token decentralization. Some of you might have paid attention to the Compound affair, where there was a sort of a governance attack that took advantage of the fact that no one's really voting. Right? And that's something that we obviously think a lot about, but Uniswap thought a lot about that. They had retroactive delegation. You're participating as a delegate, you're active, you're expressing the why behind your votes, but you don't really have that much delegation because delegation's sticky, and once you delegate, people don't usually redelegate. So Uniswap was redelegating some authority from the Treasury. We've worked on similar proposals. And so, professionalization has been a big theme. Token decentralization has been a big theme as well. Grants, how do we make the grants that all of these DAOs send out, how do we make them more transparent? How do we make it so that they're not just, the teams aren't running away with the money? How do we make it accountable, KPI-based, things like that? So just trying to make DAOs more efficient and more effective, I would say, broadly speaking, has been the overarching theme in the last year.
Yeah, so actually, for the past year, I think a lot of stuff happening in the DAO space. A lot of them, I think Chris already mentioned that, but some of the stuff I wanted to add is more on like how I see like a lot more DAOs are being more strategic on like stuff that they're doing in terms of like they're not just like giving out funds just to build a bunch of random things like across, but they're being more strategic in terms of like aligning the goals and efforts towards the same direction. For example, what's happening like last year, like after April in Optimism, like during season 4 is that they introduced the concept of intent, where pretty much they set a goal that or like they wanted to pursue within those seasons, and like all the efforts or the grants program or the stakeholders are working towards that specific objectives. So I think these are the things that a lot of more DAOs are adopting this kind of approach. The other example would be how SafeDAO is also doing that. They have this thing called the outcome-based resource allocation initiatives. Pretty much how they distribute their funds, it needs to be aligned with certain strategy that they set out throughout the seasons. And each initiatives or like proposals that came in needs to align to those strategies to be able to align everybody in the ecosystem towards the same goals. So yeah, I think that's it's where the trend is going right now for in the space within the past year.
Okay, so I'd like to say about like the differentiation between like last year's DAO Tokyo and this year's DAO Tokyo as an organizer side also. So the last year it was like a very beginning year of DAO in Japan. So everyone first time like touched real DAO contributors first time, and they talked with real DAO contributors first time, and they start to educate, like start to learn what's going on, what's happened in DAO space. How can I contribute to the DAO? So maybe like this year is like I could see like many like contributors or really unique approaches. Like one guy like who are working in the staff in the venue right now. So like he's working with like Abe directory and the Abe DAO. So like he's a very good like proposer for Abe DAO ecosystem. He have like a few small team as well. So he's very young guy, Japanese guy. So like if you don't have like any specific skill, or that if you are not not a long history of experience in the Web3 and the crypto, so maybe you can dive into the DAO space and start to catch up everything. You can follow every information if you try to access to like DAO's document or like a community code as well, the council code as well. So like many document has already opened, so like you can access directly. So maybe like people has finally knew what should we learn from like information from like how can I follow the like recent situation of DAO. So each of like attraction, the activities are very happy to see are from Japan ecosystem as well. Recently like Japan has set like a new regulation for DAO LLC. It's called DAO LLC in Japan. Sorry. So maybe like DAO is like in Japan. It's not only for Japan, but like I think like the attendee for DAO Tokyo should contribute more and more for DAO space directly to like because like we are super open guys. So like if someone raise a hand, how should I contribute to the DAO? That we can educate everything. So maybe like opportunity is like completely like open and like completely are like ready for your in front of you. Yeah, this is the things like I can share.
Yeah, I would definitely add if you're thinking about getting involved in a DAO, a general theme I've seen in particular Optimism but also Arbitrum DAOs is they just want more people to participate in general, and they're trying to figure out how to best do that. And the barrier to entry is basically zero. You can show up on the forums, you can show up on the community calls, you raise your hand, you ask a question, you post a response, and I'm not gonna say it's easy, but with some sort of consistency, you can build up a bit of a reputation by just showing up, by just having your voice heard, by just adding some interesting ideas. I'm sure you all have very interesting ideas. If you follow any sort of proposal for more than just a few days, you'll have some sort of a take. At the end of the day, there's not that many people who are shaping the course of these DAOs. And so that's a decentralization problem, but it also presents an opportunity. And when at Event Horizon, when we were pushing proposals through, we initially were going to do it for free. You know, we had a suggestion. We wanted to help out some of these DAOs, Arbitrum, Gitcoin, and we actually had the delegates in the space say, don't do that. Don't not ask for money. The DAOs are willing to pay people for services. In fact, it's important for them to do so, because if they constantly have people working for them for free, it sort of sends a message to every other builder in the space saying, hey, your labor is not valued here. If you come and participate and build something for this DAO, we will not pay you. So the delegates in the space are pretty, they're willing to actually pay people for whatever services or that they want to provide. And so that could be putting a proposal through, that could be, you know, joining some committee, that could be, there's a million different things. And in fact, you can just make the job that you want, and a DAO doesn't exist yet. You can make it. So you can build a reputation, low barrier to entry, and if you're providing real service, DAOs will pay you. So definitely would encourage anyone to just start participating.
Thank you so much. Such a good comment. I mean, always discussing about DAO, we can hear that people saying that, you know, there is not enough interest to such area as a DAO, so the people are not joining because they don't understand or they don't know. And the second problem always seems to be the governance token is not used to its purpose, like it's only used for trading. So there are a few like open problems, but you also mentioned something like inside in dev community problems as well towards DAO. So maybe today we can discuss your guys' cases, how you create the innovation, how you collaborate to make those problems solved. So maybe my question is to you guys, in Curia Labs, you has been born from the investing branch, to my knowledge. How did that happen? And right now, you're also working with a big player such as SafeDAO. How did that happen? Can you please share about your story?
Yeah, sure. Maybe let me take this back, how we started off. So Curia Lab actually started off as a part of the SCP-10X Venture Builder team, which pretty much is a company based in Southeast Asia where we try to build new innovations, startups, and my team there, physically, we are more focused on like doing DAO research, and then we stumble upon like when we were doing some of the delegate works, voting on proposals, and also like trying to come up with some rationales. We realized that it is a gap on like certain governance data accessibility, and that's we came up with like what we are doing right now, building data dashboard, and also like on the governance side of things. So mostly like back then it's much more of like risk data, the folks from Gonzalez, Chaos Lab, they were providing those, but not so much on like the governance data, and that's how we came to be. And also, like we came to, we come up with proposals and then push the grants through. We actually got like a great feedback from the community. We, like get feedbacks on like what they want and what they don't want, and it's actually started from there. And then specifically for SafeDAO, how we started off with them is that SB10X were one of their investors, and they wanted to find someone to represent, to delegate their voting power for. And it just happened that we are a team that already doing this, so they were delegating their voice to us, and then we started to participate in SafeDAO. And I think one of the key things that make important in having successful working with like established players like SafeDAO is that you need to actually put yourself in there, actually participate in the governance to actually learn and tackle and find issues that the current DAO actually has right now. For example, when we were participating, we found out the same problem. On like data, we couldn't find all the delegates who actually already actively voting. Like there's a lot of delegates, right? But not all of them are actually voting, and it's very hard for us to find all of them. So we actually built the governance dashboard for them, and the community really like it, and then they start paying us to build this thing and then to maintain this thing for them.
So you mentioned that you guys monthly create reports with the data, on-chain data. You show it to the maybe DAOs, and they see that the voting powers has been reduced in the past week, so they can do some campaign to support it, for example. But is there any potential to go beyond that? Like, what kind of usage for that data can be considered in the future?
I didn't catch it. Can you repeat again?
The data that you use to create those reports, what kind of value can it bring to DAOs and to DAO members in beyond, in a long-term perspective, maybe?
See, like at the end of the day, like all of these data itself, when there's no one actually put it into context or like make sense of it, it's just data. You can't really turn it into insights. When we were doing reports for SafeDAO, it's actually an idea from the Safe team, the Safe governance team, where they came to us and, hey, we like this data, but it's very hard for everybody to make a sense of it. And then we, volunteer, like, hey, why not we, put these data into reports and update every month of like the trends of these dynamics within the governance. For example, some of the use case would be, we could see trends of like each month of how participation or like a distribution of voting power changes month by month, to actually identify certain issues or potential issues that could happen in the near future. For example, right now there's an issue of like dropping of participation rate within SafeDAO after they actually unlock their Safe tokens. Safe token is actually there for like some time, but it was locked. It's not transferable. They just recently make it transferable by the DAO vote, and during those time the participation skyrocketed, but it was peaked there, and then it's just downhill from there. So we could identify these trends and come up with certain initiatives to actually solve these issues. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think it's a great case, to have it in consideration when you build your DAO or goes to someone's DAO to participate. Thank you so much. And my next question would be to Christian about basically Event Horizon. When did you start it, first of all?
I think it's been about 2 years now, actually, this month. So yeah, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, you guys created this governance to earn or like voting to earn innovative model. Can you describe it and what this solution brings to the industry?
Yeah, so like I said, we're basically trying to get more people to start voting, and by giving them a non-monetary incentive. So specifically, if you vote through Event Horizon, you can vote on Arbitrum proposals, Uniswap proposals, compounds, whatever. And we basically give you a pretty large vote multiple on your voting power. So it's large for retail voters. So if you don't have a whole lot of money, you can start voting with, maybe $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 worth of DAO tokens. And that's a little bit more of an incentive to participate compared to maybe the $100 you have. But it's not so much that it's, you're basically a new delegate. So it's a nice little sweet spot there. And the way we do it is we go to the DAOs, Gitcoin, Arbitrum, Uniswap, whatever DAO we're working with, and we say, hey, we have voters who are voting for the sake of voting. We're not paying them, right? There's no perverse incentives here. What we're going to ask from you guys is you delegate from your treasury some amount of your token to the Event Horizon community, and then we give that voting power to retail. And the way it works is through this model of what we call implicit delegation is we have this pie, so to speak, of voting power. And if one person shows up to vote yes on a Uniswap proposal, the whole block votes yes. And so relative to the cost of minting the voter pass, it's a soul-bound NFT that lets you vote. Relative to that cost of mint, you moved, potentially millions of dollars with that. But what that means is for the second person to come and vote, they can cut that multiple in half, but still get a pretty sizable voting authority multiple by showing up and voting. And then the third person goes in and cuts it in. So the vote multiple gets compressed the more people show up to vote. But more people show up to vote. And if few people show up to vote, then the people who do care, the few people who do show up to vote, they are rewarded with an even larger multiple. So basically it's a win-win. We turn the problem of low participation into a solution by getting a larger multiple. But a lot of this really stems from the DAOs delegating to us, which is a difficult process. Basically trying to get DAOs to act, getting a proposal through a DAO is quite a bit of work. But like I said, the barrier to entry is essentially zero. It's just, I would say, you have to turn into a bit of a lobbyist of sorts, which is something I never thought that I would have to do. But I would really recommend, if you're trying to work with a DAO, what you're doing now by showing up to these events is the best thing you can do. So Arbitrum, for instance, they had a governance hackathon in Denver. They had one in Brussels. Those are great shelling points for everyone in the space, whether you're even in Arbitrum directly or just a delegate broadly, or even more generally, you're just interested in participating in DAOs. Those are the spots where you're going to meet everyone. And so that's where you can network and meet people and pitch your ideas and get feedback and iterate. So we're a very decentralized industry in a lot of ways, geographically especially. So I would really take advantage of these in-person gatherings to really get your ideas out there, meet people, and connect with big stakeholders in the space.
I think it's a very fulfilled explanation of the case of both innovation and collaboration integrated in the business, in the project and the team. Thank you so much. And another question is to Yudai-san. You incubate projects and you host this very dedicated DAO conference. So as a member of Fracton Venture, what kind of project can you call innovative? What should it be?
Or future?
In DAO space?
In the space before?
For maybe right now or in the future,
okay.
yeah.
So actually, we have a motivation to keep incubating more innovative projects in the space. So I think the Event Horizons challenge is a really, really interesting challenge. So DAO can choose current voting mechanism plus additional your voting mechanism as well in the same time. So it's really just a bit of tricky approach, but it's really great, challenging approach. It's not a sandbox, but a really kind of sandbox, right? So that can take testing PDCA cycle in using your protocol to switching to how what type of result we will see through this your SBT voter, right? So the type of approach is really innovative. So as a Fracton, we have a motivation to we'd like to incubate more great our protocol possibility protocol earning protocols protocol fees always needed. So that is not that will not to happen with tons of money. So that should create a protocol first, and the protocol are taking a fee, and the fee will collect as a DAO treasury, and the token voter will choose how we can spend this money, reinvestment again, or spend a few things for educational stuff or something, spend money for public goods, something. So this is the things. And one more thing is that I'm really interested in poly market, prediction market. So maybe you can understand, maybe you can misunderstand about poly market, I guess. So the prediction market is not a betting market. So the prediction market means you can check what is answer of society or society choose right now. So there is so many questions in a poly market you can check. So who will win or next American election like this. So you can check the result, but you do not to bet is a result. So the point is current shares. 70% of people will supporting this person, 30% people is supporting this person, but 1 month later, the switching completely. So I think I'd like to see how we can bring the type of prediction market approach to DAO governance, collecting one result answer approach. So maybe one proposal, a few teams says I'm completely say oh it's good. I cannot both good. So I think like DAO should not do that. So but like other community people do not to understand like how many percentage of like community thinking about like recently. So like only the timing like after like shutting down to like after finishing like snapshot voting, open the result, so we could see, oh, okay, it was approved. That's it. But like the more important things is that like if someone switching opinion from like for to against to for, what happens? Why they understood the proposal? We'd like to get like more information about this point. I think, it's my personal opinion, that I think like prediction market will definitely fit to like tracking like community's opinion. Yeah.
If you guys have an answer or opinion, you can jump in just quickly. But we can go next. Yeah. Okay, so we have just a few minutes left, and maybe we want to give some kind of advice to someone who wants to join a DAO from now or create a new one. Varit, how about you? What do you think is important for them to consider? Okay, Christian, you can go first.
Yeah, I would reiterate that there's a lot of work in DAOs that needs to be done. Like I said, people are learning the lesson that they don't want to vote on every little decision ever. They're making committees and oversight committees and whatnot. And if you just show up and participate and build a reputation with yourself for having thoughtful feedback and commentary over the span of a few weeks, months, you can really build that reputation and leverage that into a position in a DAO. And they will pay you, and you will have real impact. And the impact that you have by participating, especially some of the larger DAOs, is pretty significant. Like, these DAOs have incredibly large treasuries that they're just sitting on right now, and they're waiting to do something with. But you can really etch out a little part of the space for you if you just start showing and demonstrating, hey, I'm a thoughtful contributor in the space, and building up that reputation that way.
Maybe just a few words from Varit.
Yeah, sure. How do you start off, right? So I think it just comes down to showing up, trying to learn and be there to see what are the DAO lacking, what are the problems they're trying to solve. And I think the other thing would be like, what is their whole mission of the DAO itself? Do you align yourself with what they're trying to do? And what are the skill sets you have that could help these DAOs achieve those goals? I think if you align with these, it actually helps you in terms of like having sense of completion. You help something that you actually believe in as well. For example, how I started off when I was trying to engage with optimism is, they were trying to fund public goods, and they believe like they want to fix this, have this flywheels of positive, some having flywheel of like contributing on public goods, and then those will create like impacts equal profit. Having created a lot of impacts will generate the DAO will bring back value to you. I find it very cool, and it resonates with me, and that's how I start contributing, and it's just start off from there. And I think it's what a lot of people could also do as well.
Okay, if you haven't.
Yeah, my message is very simple. Like, please contribute to DAO. Yeah, you can enter, you can dive in. Yeah, please contribute to DAO.
And you also mentioned that DAO can even be that point of interference for non-builders and even no deep Web3, but maybe Web2 people. So that's what I bring in with myself out of this discussion. But we also had a lot of several different insights. You guys can find our panelists in the lobby today, tomorrow. Please bomb them with the questions, because you probably have a lot, because the solutions are really interesting. I wish you the best of luck, with what you build, to have it in best quality. Thank you so much for today's time. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the great talk. Once again, round of applause for the speakers. Thank you, thank you.